Completely fabulous. We load up into the ship. We set sail, and we get to Cloud City, which is beautiful and all white and silver. And there's tons of other airships waiting to dock. There's just beautiful stained glass everywhere. We actually land perfectly for once, which is nice. And we make our way down the steps to the main city. Santo leads us to a tavern, where apparently he owes money and is not super comfortable with that.
He tried to lead you away from that tavern, I think.
He did.
Yes, that is correct.
Yep. Gorath wants a drink, obviously. Yulia is more interested in where the library is, and learns that in the center of the city, the High Priestess of the Lady of the Light is actually going to be staying there for a little while at the city's monastery. Let's see here. Santo has business to take care of, and says that we can meet him at the dock. Yulia goes off to the library, and McMuffin goes off to see the rest of the city to look for work. All the while, Gorath is seeing glowing red eyes out of the corner of his eye all this time, and it's kind of freaking him out, obviously. A merchant comes up and offers to sell us a silver cross because obviously there are vampires attacking the city, and we ask him about, these attacks. And apparently there is a funeral tomorrow for one of the bodies, which has been completely drained of blood. Yulia goes to the monastery, finds a group of clerics, and asks what the High Priestess is doing here. They are no help at all, but think it may have something to do with the deaths, obviously. Yulia goes to walk in the monastery when Gorath sees the shadowy figure again, and tries to tell Yulia and McMuffin that they can't really see anything. We all go inside. Yulia walks up to one of the clerics, Hanky, and asks for some information. Right. She is told that all of the victims have been young girls, and the third victim is the one who is going to be having a funeral. And they can't tell her much else. Yulia thanks him and donates 10 silver. Yulia goes next door to the library, spots a shelf with a book and a sundial on the book, plunks down and begins reading. McMuffin goes to look for odd jobs at a tavern, the Pirate's Inn, speaks to the dwarf behind the bar, lists his skills. The dwarf said he could use a musician, but McMuffin has no instrument. Let's see.
I don't think he buys one either, so...
He doesn't, no. As far as I'm aware, McMuffin does not get an instrument by the end of last session. Okay, so Yulia is looking through the books. Gorath is looking for picture books, and doesn't have much luck until he finds a book on... Let's see if I can find
airships.
Airships, basically.
Ooh, yeah.
Yulia finds a section about Time Lords. Chronomancers have the ability to make rifts in time and can walk through the fabric of time, go to events that may affect the timeline and maybe nudge them in the right direction or prevent meddling by evil chronomancers. So they're not necessarily trying to change time, they're trying to protect it, basically. Yulia blabs to the librarian about the blank book that she has with the sundial, and the librarian tries to help her as much as he can. McMuffin is still trying to look for work, comes across a community board. There is a traveling merchant selling weapons. McMuffin walks up. The merchant's name is Dreckle, which we have heard before. Yep. McMuffin asks him where he got the magical sword, which is Ripley's sword, and Dreckle says he got it from a bookish-looking woman, maybe named Maggie. Maggie Finch. She had a cross-shaped scar on her cheek. No other useful information. McMuffin goes to look for an instrument, and that's what I have.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was wonderfully accurate.
Even if I can't type it up all in time, you guys kind of you got the worst scribe ever, basically.
Refresh my memory. So we didn't find a book with the sundial in it, but you showed the sundial book to. Correct.
That's what I remember.
Cool. That's what I remember too. And I forgot his name. Was it Brother Ezel? What was it?
That sounds about
Brother
right.
Ezel. Brother Ezel. Sorry, I didn't have. I can't remember all these guys' names anymore. It's crazy.
Yeah, I write all the characters' names down, so if you need me to write something down for you, I have all of them.
I have them written down.
Excellent.
I actually use this mind mapping software called Coggle that has everything in it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's fun. So that it helps me, but I have to have it open. That's the tough part of DMing, man, is all the screens you have to have open. Especially if you're using Roll20. That's the other reason I don't love Roll20 is like I'm always in Roll20, but I'm always in a million other things. I don't want to be over there. Anyway, so also correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys we ended with you guys were just going to hunker down for the night. Was that true?
Yeah, I believe so. We were all going to go to the tavern and rest up and meet in the morning.
Except for McMuffin, who wanted to sleep on a park bench or something.
Yeah,
that's right.
He wanted a real city life, whatever the hell that means.
What? So let's start with McMuffin.
Mind you, he doesn't have any of his stuff left. Remember, he gave it away. I just want to make that a warning. It's a precaution.
What'd you give away?
He gave all of his stuff to Yulia.
Oh, right. So to safeguard.
Yes.
Cool. So, hilariously, the party is split from the get-go, which is lovely.
Oh, no.
So, tell us, McMuffin, where did you sleep last night?
I'm assuming he sort of slept underneath the stars, where he can see the whole stars in like sort of the very center of the city. He's like, wow, this looks nice. And he just chose a random park that was pretty well populated. And he laid down and, not really thinking any further on the decision he made, he decided to go to sleep.
Okay. So you found a park in kind of near the center where you guys were. Okay.
Yeah, and I think McMuffin sort of, he goes to sleep and he doesn't really mind. Does he wake up in one piece?
I just rolled for it. You do. You actually had
Wow.
like somebody probably came by at night and woke you up and made sure you were okay or something. So you were disturbed a little bit. But no, you're fine. And you wake up and you go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry. Just for reference, I just rolled on our rest period for finishing Gorath's hat. And nice. I got a 6, which means that I actually finished his hat for once.
Solid. What does it look like? What does the hat look like?
It's going to be that skull beanie, and I can certainly find a picture for you. I know it's back a little ways, but I have to find it again. But I guess now might be a good time to figure out what benefits that something that Yulia has made would confer.
Okay. What did you have in mind?
I guess it would be up to Gorath. Would you prefer to have a boost to attack or defense?
Well, how would it do that?
Yeah.
I just imagine that if you rolled a number, it would give you a +1 to some attribute of your choice.
But is it like magical? Is it made from magical fabric?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm confused about this too. This is news to me.
No, I imagine. Yeah, I would imagine that it would be sort of deity approved magical power. So it would be magical.
Okay, so it's like a blessed or a holy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, I know what I would want it to do. Not necessarily a battle thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like it to be to enlighten Gorath to be able to read. Perfect common.
Oh my god, that
would something along those lines I think would be super fun. Like it gives him like a +1 to intelligence or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or something very specific.
Yeah, it would be something that it gives you a bonus to some sort of role or attribute that you have.
I think it'd be. Go ahead.
I actually really like that idea of it making him be able to read, but not like at a college level. It's just he can actually like make shit out and function.
Yeah, but only when you're wearing the hat, right? Like
only when I'm wearing the hat.
Exactly.
I wouldn't want it to be like you have +1 to rolls, because that seems, I don't know, weird. But like a very specific thing that it does would be really cool. Like basically like glasses for your mind. Like you can't read unless you're wearing this thing or something like that. That totally, I would love for you to think of something you'd want to have happen.
Yeah, go ahead. Whatever you want, you can get a +1 or something.
Or just like the ability to read like a language, something more specific than a +1 would be more fun, I think.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. It's like a lady. It's like a light deity thing.
Maybe it's, and it would be hilarious if you misused it. Like immediately, like something came to be like it helps you focus on a certain something. Like like the Lady of Light would be like, oh well, you can have more divine knowledge or something, and you use it to remember how to concoct cocktails or something. Or something cool and specific, like whatever you want. And maybe it's one of those things where like you have to attune with it, and like, and it just becomes something.
What if it's we could take a page out of D&D's book and have like a list of kind of random effects, and then roll a dice.
Yes.
Totally. I didn't bring any of I didn't bring any of the D&D books, so I can't help with that.
Oh, what I know there's a table like that is for this. I just don't.
There is, absolutely. For sure.
Like the Book of Many Things, or the Deck of Many Things, I guess. Or like like a random, similar to like the Wild Magic random table.
Yeah.
I feel like a skull beanie could be. You could go the mental route and say that it gives you an intelligence or a wisdom boost, but you could also go, because it's a skull beanie, you could go with intimidation or attack or defense.
I like the idea where if you need to know something, or, like something of, because I'm thinking like this is interwoven with the Lady of Light, right? Like, so some sort of wisdom, or like where you have a role where you need something, you can wear this and you can roll on a table, and that's what happens.
Also, sort of like it randomly generates a stat or a sort of a bonus or a defect.
Or maybe like I don't know what it is, and maybe we might not be able to use it immediately because we'd have to figure out what it is, and I don't know what like instead of rolling like, oh, well, for this you'd have to roll wisdom or intelligence, something along like that, or a perception, and you can put on your beanie. But it's like basically like maybe it's almost like shaking the magic 8-ball, right? Like it's very vague, but instead of rolling, and it could go horribly wrong, of course.
Well, I did find a magic effect generator.
Cool.
And I'm discounting anything that pops up that has to do with like magic, like a magical modification or anything like that, or something that's too crazy. But the third result that I got was a group of scholars think the caster's a visitor from the future,
Cool.
which somehow like fits.
Yes. Yeah, so like we'd want like we'd want 6 good and 6 bad. Keep it in the 2d6 thing, right? Like and then like basically you roll 2d6 and it gives you that number. So like 12 things. Yeah, we'll have to think on that.
Yeah, we'll have to think about the 12 things.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to make a note.
Just let
one
me
of the
all know
ones that I got.
Finish something.
Yeah.
God bless. And one of the things that like generated was target's next missile attack causes whoever is hit to combust. So yeah, these are interesting perks that your hat gives.
Target spouts 1d6 additional doses somewhere on his body.
Target has a seizure lasting 8d8 rounds, after which he is healed. Caster's spells no longer work on some particular person near.
This is a great resource. Wow.
Target's hands and feet are abnormally spongy. Oh, gross. Oh.
Is that a wild magic thing?
It must be.
Yeah.
It must be. It's like hideous that.
If there's you turn blue, that's definitely it. Because I've played wild magic. I played a blue wild magic mage. Because I was like, well, he's already failed at one of these, and I rolled, and it was turns blue. So he's blue. So we'll think of 12 things that could benefit or be a detriment to Gorath. When using the skull cap.
I think upon his first putting it on, Gorath feels a boost in confidence.
Yes.
Like he needed that.
A short period of, somebody made a gift for me and it's mine now.
Yeah, it seems like it wouldn't be too weird. Like, it's almost like you can choose to use this instead of like maybe rolling or something, right? Like almost like it's a skill. Like, I have I have athletics. So when you need to use an intelligence or wisdom roll, you can opt for this. That would be it would be super fun. I have no problem with that at all. But then we just have to figure out the table. I don't know what it would be.
Yep.
Because it wouldn't be an attack,
use the
right? It would be like a knowledge or something.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, it would just be a boost.
Doesn't hardly have to be a boost, or would it be just like an effect that happens in the world around?
It could. Yeah,
because I'm looking at these randomly generated items that are coming up, and honestly, some of them just sound funny. I can just imagine them happening, and they just sound like a lot more engaging.
Yeah, totally. That's rad. We will think on that. If we need to, if we want to use it in the immediate future, we'll figure it out.
I think it could. I mean, the first effect could be kind of just the first idea that we had. That I feel confident because she's giving me a gift, but the knock-on, kind of magical effect could be that I can suddenly read at a semi-competent level.
Exactly.
But tomorrow it might not be the same.
Right.
Interesting.
Ooh, that's even more.
Figure it out.
That could even be more fun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
New ability each day.
Yeah, think on it, Gorath, and if you think of something, because that'd be fun, like rolling each day what the cap does to you. That's a fine way to do it, or if you want to do it, in game situation, that's totally cool.
Okay, I'll probably keep it on like a once per day roll thing, so doesn't become something that I'm having to do all the time.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds good. Or if it was situational, if that's why I'm thinking I'm leaning towards the intelligence or wisdom kind of role where you could opt to do this, and maybe that is instead of your role. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. Cool.
Yep.
We shall. Thank
you,
Yulia.
Finally.
Exactly. So McMuffin, you wake up. It was dark when you went to bed, right? And it's a fairly. You wake up and you're in a fairly large, almost like a plaza kind of thing, right? And you're on there's grass and whatnot. So you were on a bench or or whatever, some sort of ground or seat. And there are a lot of people now. That's why you wake up, right? And in the center of it, it's interesting because you can see now what looked like a huge flat stone thing is actually, you see a little kid sticking their hand in it, and it's actually an infinity pool. That's like a fountain, right? It's and it is actually called the Infinity Fountain. But so it's this.
Is it just like a fountain?
It is, but it's not a fountain where it's moving water. This is interesting because of its stillness. It doesn't look like water until. I don't know if you guys have ever been to the Detroit airport, but they have this thing that it doesn't look like water until you brush up against it and you get it all over your pants, or you're because it's water moving, but you don't even see it because it looks like this flat stone. And that's what it looks like. It's a marvel of engineering because you're like, how did they do that? Because it's
like a laminar flow.
Yeah, and because you could walk right into it, right? And this being medieval times, there are no gates or anything keeping you out of it. And some people are probably standing in it, right? And throwing money in it and the whole thing, as people do. Probably.
I rolled to see if McMuffin know what a fountain is.
Okay. That's true. I mean, yes.
A 9, yeah.
A 9 means he knows that he knows it's water. He doesn't know its purpose, and he sort of looks around. He says, "Huh, what's a weird-looking bathtub doing in the middle?"
Exactly. It's pretty big. It's going to be it's like a solid 50 feet long, that kind of thing. Big. Maybe 100 feet long, and not as wide. Yeah, and it looks like smooth stone until someone puts a ripple in it. And then you can see that it's actually water. And it looks like it's, you can't even see where it's fed, really. But it's very dark. It looks like dark stone. And you see, while you're sitting, you see somebody throw a coin in there. Because that's a common practice. So you're learning this as you go. What people do in fountains, and some people are drinking from it. It seems like it's pretty clean, that sort of thing. It's in the
The Muffin's going to go up to the fountain and sort of clean his hair out.
Okay. Nobody stops you. There's a bunch of people doing similar things. It looks like, this is like a common place to come get water. Maybe not water out of the thing, but there are pumps. There's a you see on the side people filling up water jugs and that sort of thing.
Mm. Yeah, the Muffin's just going to sort of look at it. He's kind of confused, but at this point he's always confused, so he doesn't get too bothered by it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of just shrugs and he's just like, "Wow, this is really cool." don't know why I didn't waste their money on this. We can just get water from anywhere else. But
except that you can't. But yes. But it's like an overcast day, and the cool thing is like it like almost begs you to come up and touch it, right? Like, because it looks like solid stone until you poke it and you realize, and then when you poke it, you can see down into the depths of it, and it's probably like 3 feet deep, that sort of thing.
How many feet?
Like 2-3 feet. So you could wade in it, and you might see people wading in it. That sort of thing, just to cool off. It's just, common, but it's early in the morning, so they're probably not just yet, unless they're bathing in it, which nobody wants to bathe in this, because it's kind of like, you get the sense that this is like the city's water, this is,
Really?
or at least in the center.
Muffin sort of thinks about it. He's like, this would be fun. I wonder if Gorath...
You wonder if Gorath what?
I should go tell them.
Yeah.
If Gorath and Yulia...
You dropped off there.
He sort of like picks up... No, he just said, I wonder if they would like this. And then he thinks about it. He says, yeah, they would. He's going to go off and go find them again. And
Yulia and Gorath were both in a tavern, right?
Yeah, you guys went to the inn, so we'll switch over to you.
Okay.
So,
I imagine Yulia, has gotten up and is in the main area waiting for Gorath with a cup of wholesome apple juice.
Delicious. For only 3 silver. Your breakfast is 3 silver if you'd like to have,
Yep.
I
mean, it is Cloud City. It's pretty expensive.
It really is. It's a ripoff. And your room, that probably included your room, though.
Right.
Room and board for 3 silver. Did Gorath get his own room, or do you guys share?
I don't know if Yulia would trust Gorath in the same room.
I think Yulia...
That's not my call.
I think Yulia would be just naive enough to not really think about it. She'd be like, oh yeah, we can share a room. That's fine. Let's save some money.
Yep. And does Gorath snore?
Yes, he does. And of course would take the let's get a room together in the wrong way.
Oh no!
For sure.
Oh my god! All I imagined was like Gorath just like smells up the room.
Oh yeah,
probably, definitely.
That's natural natural Northness right
His
there.
His natural aroma.
Yeah, because it was probably beer and something that you ate, whatever you ate.
Owlbear.
Owlbear.
Yeah. Beer and owlbear, delicious. Cool.
So
and
I imagine that like once they've gotten the room initially, Gorath would like uncomfortably engage in some like what he perceives to be like romantic gesture. Oh god.
Nice.
No. Yulia is not receptive. She just kind of gives him a weird look and just be like, okay, I'm going to roll over now. You sleep on the floor over there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to think of what this gesture would be for a fucking orc.
Like pounding his chest?
I feel like, Yulia would be like, oh, we can share a room, and Gorath would be like, I'll be right back, and like runs off, and Yulia would go upstairs, and 15 minutes later, Gorath would come in with like a dead dog.
Nice.
That he would like throw onto the ground. And you're like,
Oh my god.
I got this for you.
Fantastic.
Oh,
Yulia. Yulia does not know what to do with this. She's just staring at it and like...
The color of his fur reminded me of your eyes.
Yep.
So I killed it. to give it to you.
Oh God. Yulia has no idea what to do with this. She's just speechless, just looking at the dog and then looking at Gorath and then looking back at the dog and then looking back at Gorath. Like, maybe the way that you would look at a cat who has brought you some dead bird or rat or whatever and just looking at it like, oh, thank you. This is so nice. I'm going to put this outside right now, and I'm not going to do anything with it other than that. But good job. Yes, good job.
Thanks. So you're going to get naked now, or what? I don't know how this works with humans.
See, I immediately went to, after that, next came, he gets out, like, his tattoo kit, and it's like, where do you want this tattoo?
We're now betrothed. What are you looking at? Not?
Yulia's gonna bluff and she's gonna say, "Okay, no, this is a great initial offering, but I'm afraid we can't continue as of yet. You're gonna have to sleep on the floor for tonight."
Fantastic.
Playing hard to get, I see. Gorath will oblige and just, think about how confusing humans are.
It's possible maybe Gorath is like doing this while he's lifting some weights in preparation for the obvious feats of strength at the wedding.
That will, yeah. Further impressiveness needs to be achieved.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Cool.
All right, so let's pretend we just fast forward to the morning.
Oh, God.
Where we meet back up with McMuffin.
And McMuffin sort of, like, he runs to the room and he sees, like, this dead dog outside the room. And he sort of opens the door and says, did I?
Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
So, okay, I'll ignore the smelly dog and the...
It's not your dog, don't touch it. There's none for you.
I don't know about what the innkeeper say. Well,
it's the innkeeper's dog.
Oh no!
God, I can't. Don't let me continue. I'm gonna fuck everything up. I'm not the DM. Don't let me do this.
No, it's fine. So I imagine
Muffin sort of ignores. Oh, so.
No, go ahead.
That's what I was just going to say. Muffin sort of ignores it and just says, "Yeah. So about that fountain, sort of taking one step away from the dead dog. There's a fountain over there in the middle of Cloud City. It's sort of like a water fountain. You could just sort of clean yourself off in it, take baths and stuff in it. Looks pretty fun. And to be honest, so far we haven't found any leads on anything."
I think Yulia is perfectly happy to have anything else to focus on other than what just happened. So she's ready to go.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, she's sitting down. She's drinking her apple juice with, like, in a very weird, nervous, like, did that just happen? Almost like, I'm going to just pretend that didn't happen, maybe. I mean, perhaps you do pretend it didn't happen, or maybe you want to talk about it, I don't know.
And Gorath is just completely, like, business as usual, nothing has changed. Like, let's have a good day. Yeah. I guess next time I need to kill a bigger dog. That's where I went wrong. It was the size of the canine.
Awesome.
I like water fountains.
I know you do.
What's a waffle
Speaking
fountain?
of which, Gorath, have you ever taken a bath before?
Yeah. Once.
Well,
Once or twice.
well, a good thing for you is that we can make that happen. So, how about we take you there? And you...
Thank you. That's so kind of you.
Yeah, you can come too.
Cool. So, yeah, McMuffin he kind of like sidesteps around the dead dog, grabs his pack.
So does Yulia still give Gorath the hat?
I imagine this happened probably before the awkwardness. So yes,
Okay.
I'm sure Gorath has his hat.
Okay.
Cool. So
Good to know what happened before the awkwardness. So.
I mean,
And-
just considering the person she is, she probably would have still given it to him. Just,
And so Gorath and McMuffin go downstairs, and McMuffin sees... There's like a knowing glance between McMuffin and Yulia. It's like, you had a rough night, kind of.
One of us slept on a park bench, and the other one slept next to an orc. Who had the first night?
Yeah, exactly. And McMuffin is like thinking he really made out by sleeping by the fountain.
Yeah. Excuse me. I think McMuffin sort of like excitedly leads them out, and he actively tries to avoid the innkeeper because he doesn't want to tell them that the dog's... I don't know. That whatever dog... There's a random dead dog in the middle of a hallway. So he sort of like scurries everyone out and says, yeah, let's try to not go to this inn anymore. I think...
The owner's just outside being like, "Here, buddy."
Oh, God.
Oh, God, no!
Man, where did that dog get off to?
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
This just got really morbid.
It went a little dark.
It's
A little bit.
you've got Gorath, so it's all right.
On the plus side, Smalley's lizard, who he was incredibly proud of capturing, eventually got away.
Yep.
Solid.
Aw.
Cool. So you guys are traveling to the fountain.
Agreed. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, this is it's the city center, so like it's pretty nice. And as you guys approach this, you can see there is like some signage that says Infinity Fountain. And it's clear that this is like one of the sites. You guys were asking about sites to see in town. And this is clearly one of them. It's the Infinity Fountain is like a thing. And there's probably a plaque, and it says like something like, it gives you, is known to have, to give great health and the minerals from the fountain and blah, 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 that kind of thing. Marketing.
We just visited the Fountain of Youth. We're not impressed.
Exactly. Yeah. But the interesting thing about it.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. But it is interesting in that, like, you guys have never seen anything like this. It's a very it seems almost magical, but it doesn't. You can probably tell that it's just not. But it's interesting. It is kind of a landmark in that it doesn't look like water. It looks like a stone until you realize it's water. So it's kind of cool. Just that's the only thing.
All right. Well, what did you want to show us, McMuffin?
McMuffin then looks at them and then he proceeds to take his shirt off and says, I'm about to take a bath. As he sort of like takes his shoes off, takes his shirt off, and he sort of dives
His elaborate.
I'm gonna roll for Dex
clothes.
to see if he actually.
Your elaborate
Yes,
clothes.
and I'm gonna roll for Dex to see. Oh yeah, and then he realized he took some of his elaborate clothes, throws them to Gorath, and yeah, he's gonna dive into the pool. That's
You're going to dive into the pool. Okay.
yes.
He
dives and
a 1.5 deep pool.
Yeah. Roll me some damage. Roll just a d6. Yep. Cool. You do this. It's actually, like there's a couple people watching you do this, and like, you do this kind of a nice, like, not a belly flop, like you go like head first, like dive, and yeah, you bang your head against the bottom of the fountain, and like a small silver coin is like stuck to your head and like embedded in your head when you come back out. And they look at you and they shake their head and they keep walking. I was gonna have.
Ow! I thought it would be deeper.
You thought the infinity was how deep it was.
Yeah, well, isn't the infinity fountain supposed to be infinite?
Sure.
I don't know. It's kind of a weird place for a bar, but I'm on board. I could use one. Freshen me up.
And Gorath will do the thing where, like still wearing everything, will just like do the like falling person, just like flop into the fountain.
Yeah, like a back fall, like falling back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool.
And like as he does so, like it almost like around him almost becomes kind of an oil slick.
Yeah.
Oh,
someone who's just a little too dirty and they've gotten into clean water.
Fantastic.
Yulia,
I needed it.
Yulia just shakes her head and stands outside of the pool. She's not going in there.
Cool.
Wait, how do people react to Gorath jumping into the pool? Do they start to leave? Do they start to leave and just like...
No, but they definitely moved to the other end of the fountain. Because, like, you diving was a little weird. They're like, that, okay. But you did get 1 silver out of the bottom of it. It's lodged in your skull right now a little bit. But that's fine. Gorath's oil slick. I mean, people, that's kind of, this is kind of a public fountain. No one's drinking the water out of it. There's like pumps on, on the ends where you can fill up drinking water, that sort of thing. But this is just like, yeah, and people do cool off, so it's not unusual, Cool, yeah, and so, like there are a bunch of people around, and you guys are like hearing, like there's the little scuttlebutt about, the funeral today. A lot of people are going because people are a little freaked out about it. And when you ask them, they'll kind of like pretend that they're not, but they are. You can hear it just like, as you're passing by or people are passing by, you hear that's kind of the conversation.
Yeah. McMuffin asks a stranger, where's this funeral at? Is anyone invited?
And like you do so, and you're like, hey, and you're in the infinity pool, and you run up to somebody standing by it and splash them, and ask them where it is, and they look kind of annoyed at you, and they're like, it's at the temple, and like,
which temple?
Like, and as they turn their back to you and are walking away, the Lady of the Light Temple, center of town.
Thank you, friend.
And then, and they throw up their hand, don't look back, and wave goodbye.
What a nice person.
Oh. And yeah, you're bleeding, and you have a coin lodged in your head. It's interesting.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out how that...
If only you had a cleric.
If only.
Cool.
You'll figure it out.
You guys are... Yulia's had breakfast, at least. You guys have... 2/3 of you have bathed now and are soggy. Possibly. What did you guys have in mind for the day? There is a funeral.
Yes, I was going to say, is the funeral today?
It is.
I think Yulia is interested in going to see that at the very least.
Okay.
Wait, who died?
Sounds like fun if you ask me. Never been. Well, I never got to see one. Always been the person doing.
Yeah, you were the main character in the funeral.
Yep.
Did you die again?
I hope not, but if I do, then I think we have ways to get me back.
For the 4th time.
So whose funeral is it?
That's a good question. I don't know.
What was that question?
Whose funeral is it?
It's the funeral of one of the girls who has gone missing and been found dead. And that is what the city seems to think are vampires.
Right.
And,
So
and
why would vampire?
Yulia says the word vampire, and like a couple of people look her way, like that are possibly, just passing by.
McMuffin sort of looks at Yulia and then looks at people, and then he sort of wonders why that's the case, and he says, vampire, just like randomly, not in any context.
Yeah, and then another person hears you say vampire and gives a double take to you, and then a triple take because you have a coin sticking out of your head and bleeding.
Vampire.
And then, they're with people, and they kind of scuttle those people away from you and move on.
That's cool. Vampire!
Muffin sort of falls along and says, vampire!
And Yulia just notice a very subtle, but everyone is kind of giving you guys space, moving to the other, away from you to other parts of the park or the fountain.
I think Yulia is pretty oblivious to this, so she's just going to try to find her way to the funeral because, as I remember from last session, the Hight Priestess of the Lady Light is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so she's interested in seeing this. And
Cool.
she'll probably go even if the other two don't want to go with her.
Okay.
McMuffin will follow along, but he wants to make a pit stop for.
What pit stop?
What's the equivalent of a music shop?
A music shop? Okay.
He wants to buy a lute.
Cool. You guys are up early, right? But yeah, you can probably
I think so.
You could find a music shop or a vendor along the way, maybe. If you so you guys are kind of on the outskirts of the center of town. Not outskirts, there's the center of town, but this is it's not in the direct center. The center was, the Great Library, which you guys might want to go back to, the temple.
What?
What?
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
You kind of DC.
Oh, sorry. So you guys are the next tier down from the center of town, because the center of town is at the apex of the town, probably, right? In the infinity pool fountain is at that next level. So you guys are very close, but it's very early. But I mean, do whatever you'd like. What would you guys like to do?
Well, McMuffin said he wanted to make a pit stop. Where do you want to go?
Yeah, Muffin sort of looks around and says, I just want to buy a lute. I'm sure a general store might have one.
Yeah, cool. I mean, you guys, since you are in and around the center of town, it's a lot of marketplace, so you can easily find a music shop.
Perfect. Yeah, Muffin's going to walk in and sort of knocks on the door. He sort of walks in, and he doesn't really know what to do. So he's just, yeah, can I have like a loot? No conversation. He just says, he doesn't really know what to do, so he just sort of gets.
Yeah, cool. So you open the door, and of course on the door there's a bunch of like little like noisemakers. The cat attacked Gorath. So you open the door and it's chimey, right? Like ching, bling, bling, ching, because it's and you just blurt out like, "Can I have a loot?" And
please.
Cool. And the proprietor is behind. He was like tuning something, like possibly a loot, and he says, "Yeah, I have this loot right here."
Oh, well, that's easy. How much is it?
It's only 50 silver. And you can see it's super ornate, and it's a really nice one, like a lot of hand carving, a lot of fancy inlays, very, very fancy.
50 silver?
Well, you said you needed a loot.
Well, do you have one that's 34 silver?
Is that how much you have? 34?
Yeah, that's exactly how much he has.
Awesome. And he gently puts this one in behind in a case and closes the glass in front of it. He was clearly, and he goes to there's a bucket on the floor, and he pulls just the shittiest looking loot you've ever seen out of there. And it's got it's missing a string, dust and dirt, maybe some mud, and possibly a little blood. You can't really tell if it's dirt or blood on the loot. And he whips it up, tunes it up a little, plink, plink, plink. It's out of tune. The strings are terrible. He says, "This one's $34 silver."
I would not pay that much for that.
Is Gorath in here?
Yeah, Gorath
Yes.
would be curious.
Yeah. And Gorath comes in and swings the door open, and the chimes go, and half the chimes fall off the door because he's opened it too heartily.
And immediately Gorath will make himself a nuisance by
picking up you pick up a wood flute and start blowing into it in the wrong end. It's in the wrong end, and you're making noises because
Muffin, while that's happening, is sort of gonna convince the man to sell the price of that ornate loot lower. He's gonna say, "I am an aspiring musician, my friend. I've come very far, and I think that, as such, I think you can find it in your heart to bless a young man of musical."
And he looks at you and he says,
"Well, fuck."
Oh, what did you roll?
I rolled a 5.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And he looks at you and he says, "Okay, if you get your friend out of here, I will wash the blood off this one, put new strings
Gorath
on
found
it."
the drum set at this moment.
And he's and all of a sudden he's talking, "And I'll get the blood off it, and I'll put strings on it." And he's talking louder and louder over the drums. "And I'll sell you this one for 20 silver. How about that?"
I'll be good for now. Hey, Gorath, I'm gonna head out now. And this is McMuffin's this is his way of being passive aggressive. So he realized that he doesn't want that one. He sort of looks at him and he looks at Gorath. I'm gonna head out. Gorath is still looking for something, so you can.
How much for the drum set?
And a drum set in medieval drum set, sure.
Yeah.
Let's say it's a drum.
Yeah, it's like 7 identical drums that I'm playing all at the same time.
Exactly. And he says, "Well, each drum is 10 silver."
How many?
10.
10 silver.
And
How much for the wooden tube that I go into?
That's 1 silver.
Oh, 1 silver. So...
And at this point, Gorath gets an idea and grabs 2 of the wood flutes and starts trying to use them as drumsticks.
Oh, yeah. And let's see.
And I want to roll to see if they break.
Cool.
Those are broken beyond belief.
Yep.
X.
Gorath gives a vigorous, a single boom, and they shatter and crunch in his hand and snap in half.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think those was defective.
McMuffin sort of looks at what happens, and he looks at the general store manager, and he says, "Yeah, I'm gonna come back, and you're gonna, I'm gonna head out. Gorath, you can handle this, right?" As he makes his way, he turns to leave.
I'm a good negotiator.
And the shopkeeper kind of shoos you out, and he's like, you owe me 2 silver for those broken. You broke 2 flutes.
For the defective sticks.
Okay, I'll tell you what. If you give me a silver and get the hell out of here and never come back, we'll call it even.
I'm not gonna pay you nothing. Trying to swindle me out of silver for defective sticks. I'll go to the police.
Gorath.
Please do.
Well, I don't know how to, but instead I could hit you.
Gorath, please don't.
And
he's sort of shocked.
Yeah, and the shopkeeper is not like a physical, he walks in back, and you can hear him calling for help.
Gorath, I think now it's time to go.
All right, let's go.
Now.
Get better sticks next time.
Go.
Oh my god.
Pushes Gorath outside the door.
I hope
we're going to the funeral.
I hope. Yep.
Cool.
Oh god. Yulia is very confused. She's just waiting outside, and they come rushing out. And she's just like, "What? What happened?"
All she hears when they open the doors, "Get better sticks next time."
Yeah, and
So
Gorath comes
"Help!"
out with a couple broken flutes.
Yep. So I'm going to assume that they make their way towards the funeral.
Quickly, probably.
Yep.
Yeah,
Quickly. Yep.
Yulia would see the 2 broken flutes and pretty much knows exactly how that went.
Mm-hmm. I'm not with these 2. I don't know what's going on. I'm just by myself over here.
Yep, and she's shooing them along. Okay, come on, let's go.
Gorath's still going to be a little butthurt about the shop, so he's going to tell random people about how this shop sells broken sticks.
Right, totally. And he's, look, nothing. Yeah, blowing in them. bang them on things. Yep, totally.
Hitting them on stuff and nothing happens, or they just break more.
Mm-hmm. Useless.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Cool. So you guys are going to go. You're going to head to the temple. I take it.
Yep.
Okay. Can we take a quick break?
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so we're all going to the funeral. Mm-hmm. Does McMuffin want to go anywhere else?
No, McMuffin will skip the tier from.
Okay.
After that, it's he's just going to go right there.
Okay.
And not bring it up.
All right.
Though he does say, if there are guards looking for us, don't worry about it. They got.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Cool. So you guys are you head to the temple. Mm-hmm. As you're going there, you can see people fluttering about. You can see they're still prepping for it. If you try to peek your head in, and it's obviously not happening just yet. But there's a lot of preparation, and you can see this is kind of a big deal. Not exactly sure why, but maybe this town's really into funerals. Who knows? And as you guys are kind of loitering about, it looks like it's not going to happen. Like you guys are probably a couple hours early.
Okay.
But you, this face from the crowd comes out, sees you, sees you guys, and is coming right for it. And it's just like a younger kind of kid, like not a child, but like a young adult. And he says, "Excuse me, ma'am," and he's talking to you, Yulia. He recognizes you.
Okay.
And you can tell he's in an outfit like you probably you can probably tell from there's ink stains all over his hands and his dress. He's clearly one of the scribes from the library. Okay. And he says, you were in the library yesterday and you were looking for a book with a sundial on it. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
And he said, one of the, one of our main patrons, it's hard to explain, but he came in and he checked out a book, and I noticed that it had a sundial on the cover.
Do you know what the name of the book that he checked out was?
I'm sorry, it didn't have a name, and it was funny because it's a book that we rarely look at. Its pages are all blank.
What exactly do you know about this book?
I'm sorry, man. I'm a scribe, so I don't know much about it. There's nothing to scribe in there. I've often thought of using it to transfer things, but it seems the marks I make in the book don't tell Brother Elias. But I tried to write in the book, and the ink just absorbed, and it was gone. Please don't tell him.
Why?
He would be furious.
Why would a library have a book which doesn't have anything in it?
We have all sorts of oddities in the Great Library, I promise you. There's a book on toes. Did you know that? It's all about toes.
Did you
say again?
Did you auto generate that, or did you just come up?
No, I did not. I just came up with it. It's what would be the dumbest book? It's a book on pictures of toes and people.
Let's try that again. Sorry, I couldn't hear any of your answer. I had to leave and come back.
No, he said, "Can you believe it? There's a book on toes, just toes." So that's what he said. There's many oddities in the library.
Yes. Okay. I did hear that. My follow-up question was, what can you tell me about the patron who checked out this book?
He's one of our... We normally don't check books out to people. That's crazy, Tom. And he looks down at his hands, and he's like rubbing the ink off him. Like, do you know how long it takes me to? And he rambles on about book scribing that doesn't matter. And I'm sorry. Our patron, his name is Mr. Maxwell. I believe his first name is Malik. I'm not exactly sure. But he brings us a lot of books, so we do a lot of trade with him. So he gets special privileges.
Interesting.
But I do know he came in yesterday because I checked it out to him. He asked to borrow it, and we gave it to him. But yes, there is. I noticed as I was writing it down that there was a little sundial on the cover. It was weird.
Interesting. You what exactly do you know about this Mr. Maxwell? Do you know what part of the city he's from?
Well, he is an interesting one. He's a merchant in town, lives in the nice part of town, and he points, and it's like north of where you guys are, and it looks like it's up like another, not higher than the city center, but like you can see it, and he points at that area.
Okay.
I don't know exactly. Well, that's actually not true. I have been there. If you go up and he names a street, the street, you'll see many large houses. There's a small one. He lives in the smallest, but it's quite beautiful. But it's a very small house.
Okay.
You kind of can't miss it. It's the small house amongst the towers of palatial estates. I don't know why he checked it out. He just came out of the blue. It's not abnormal for him to borrow books, but he wanted specifically that one.
Interesting. Okay. Well, Yulia is definitely one to reward information, so she'll go ahead and give him 1 silver.
Oh, he's very excited, and he looks at it, and there's what face is this on here? And it's the face of the fallen cleric, I think. You gave him a cleric coin, right?
In words?
Huh?
Sorry, I thought you were posting something.
Oh no.
Okay.
He was looking at the face, and it's the cleric's face.
Okay.
You still have cleric money.
Okay. Oh yes, I forgot. Okay. All right. Well.
And he thanks you. He says, "Thank you, ma'am." And he, and he says, "Let me know if there's anything else you need from the library."
Oh, absolutely.
And scampers off. And like enjoy the funeral from. He doesn't say vampires.
Have a good funeral.
Yeah.
Have a good funeral.
Good morning. Huh?
Nice. Nice. See what that skull cap does for you? That's nice.
Right?
Brilliant.
Okay. So do we want to continue on?
What do you guys want to do? Continue on where?
I think Can we wait to see what happens?
Yeah.
Wait to see what happens with what?
McMuffins. With the funeral.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, cool. You guys can wait around. That's fine.
Let's see the funeral. Yay.
Cool.
Sounds like fun.
You guys do wait around, and you see the whole rigmarole. And, this place, so it's at the temple. It's at Yulia's temple place, which I think we described it. It's made out. It's made out of clay, so it's a different color. It totally sticks out amongst the marble and white, and it's covered with even more flowers than it normally is. Right, so there's extra amounts of flowers, and there's people. Again, it's like a big main room with a huge carpet, floral carpet. The ceiling has a big hole in it with a beautiful stained glass that shoots colored lights, throughout the building. It's pretty cool. And you can see them prepping. There's they're doing full wake style. So there's this raised slab above, it's just slightly above the floor. So ergo, almost a stage, but it's just raised stone slab. And you can see that, people are milling about, and the coffin is there, and people are kind of peeking in and giving sad faces and that sort of thing.
Well, this is unfortunate. Sucks for whoever this man.
Yeah.
And McMuffin thinks about it. Well, he's going to make a pun and say, this must really suck.
Is that a vampire joke?
Oh, I get
yes,
it. Yes,
Muffin sort of looks at Yulia, and he looks at Gorath. Y'all
get it?
And, from somewhere in the audience, you just hear someone go, ah, 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 ah.
Exactly. Totally. And after a while, the front rows are completely full, and you guys are kind of towards the back. There's the rich people are up front. Classic, feudalism.
Can we try to get up?
Sure, you can.
McMuffin's going to say, I'm going to try to get a better seat to get it.
Well, Yulia also wants to get a better seat just so she can see the High Priestess.
Okay.
I don't know if we need to roll anything.
So, you guys try to go up front, and there's people seating people, and they look at McMuffin in his elaborate clothes, and they look the other way and let him go through, and they see you, Yulia, and they're like, priestess, that's cool. They kind of give you a glance, but they definitely stop Gorath.
McMuffin sort of steps in and says, sorry, he's my bodyguard. If you...
your bodyguard?
You cut out there for a second, McMuffin.
No, McMuffin says, excuse me, he's my bodyguard. You could let him in. I apologize for any confusion.
Is that your... are you persuading?
Yes.
Cool. And he looks at you. Your clothes are very nice still, and you've bathed recently, so you smell pretty good. He notices the dent in your forehead, but the blood is dried. Yulia didn't heal it, but he's thinking to himself, this guy needs a bodyguard. He's got a crack in his head, a hole in his head. And he says, of course, sir, right this way. And he there's 3 seats in the 4th row. They're not seats, but they're sections where you can because everyone's sitting on the floor, so you guys can sit.
Wow. Muffin says wow, we're kind of special, aren't we?
So I'm assuming
funeral.
we all sit together up front there.
Mm-hmm. You have great seats now. Cool. Yeah, and so, there's the funeral starts like they've already had like the showing a couple days earlier, so like there's no like coming up and seeing the body necessarily. And they're doing the full tilt. There's like a little bit of music while the final people are sitting. It stops. There's like incense being, run. People are doing the wavy incense thing down the thing. And various people are talking, and some of which are in a language you guys don't know actually, which is interesting because apparently she spoke common, but she is not. I don't know. Let me roll. She is a dwarf. A dwarf lady.
Okay.
And you catch her name. Hold on. Yeah, so you catch her name. They keep saying Sister Opfer, which is an interesting
Spell it?
Opfer.
Fur?
Opfer. Opfer.
Opfer.
Yep, Opfer.
Okay. So the victim was a dwarf named Opfer?
Yep.
Okay.
And various people are speaking, and the usual stuff, like, oh, it's very sad, and like, another one has been taken, nobody says vampire. Like, nobody. Like, the word vampire is not spoken.
And just as you say that, Brian, Muffin is going to say, these damn vampires, what a damn shame.
and you say it loud enough where everyone around you gasps, and then that makes the person on the pulpit or the up on the thing stop and pause and look over at you guys.
Something tells me I said something wrong.
And there's like a flutter of like, how you can't tell anything specifically because no one around you is going to say anything in front of you, but like you can hear like people like that little rippling wave of talk that dissipates quickly, kind of like, oh my god, did someone just say vampire? And then like everyone says that and it goes kind of through the room and it's cool. And the person on stage clears their throat and just continues.
Sorry.
Yeah, and so it's after, a lot of the same bullshit at funerals, like, the one of the what looks like one of the main priests is like, and now we'd like to have some words from Sister Malora, the Hight Priestess of the Lady of Light, who is gracing us with her presence.
Yulia immediately sits up in her seat.
Cool, and like so this a woman walks slowly to up to the front of the raised slab, and she's very like fair looking, right? Like braided red hair. She's wearing like really simple clothing. Like nothing super fancy. So not like, which is interesting. Not like...
not ostentatious.
Yeah. Like, yeah, she definitely... They would have stopped her from sitting too close, for sure. She has a very simple, like, rugged and almost like, primitive wooden holy symbol, around her neck.
Interesting.
And even from here, you can like she's very like pretty and fair, like just like elfin like, right? Maybe you could like almost she looks maybe elf, but she definitely has like this cool like glow to her. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
But even from afar, you can see there's like one like weird wart on her face.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's big enough to see from where you guys are.
Oh dear.
And like, yeah, you get like a waft like goes through the entire place of like cinnamon. It's interesting.
Does it smell? Does it smell good in here? It's just me, Gorath.
I mean, smells like breakfast.
Yeah.
Like Pop-Tarts.
So she's perfect, except she has a wart on her face. So she's what, Cindy Crawford?
Oh yeah, well maybe so. Yeah, but like a red-headed Cindy Crawford, sure.
A red-headed Cindy Crawford. Okay.
Yeah. And she comes to the front and she says her little speech, and she says, "We do not mourn the loss of our sister. She will always be with us. But we do not see as well without her. We do not hear as well without her. We do not feel as well without her. She came like the wind touched everything, and like the wind, she was gone." And she like stands there, and that's it, and she just walks back into the back of the hall. And then,
shrugs.
Go ahead.
That's it? He says that very quietly, not out loud.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the service continues,
Okay.
And
I think... Go ahead.
No, that's you.
I think Yulia would be eager to kind of keep an eye on her and try to see if she can meet her backstage or whatever. Yulia wants to talk to her.
Cool. So you guys are going to try to do the let's get out of here quick and go around the back and see if we can find her. Like you guys are trying to get backstage.
Yulia certainly, maybe not Gorath and McMuffin.
Let's check the tour buses.
Exactly. Cool. Yeah. So the funeral. They do the ending, and lots of people have gotten up and spoken and that sort of thing. And then they have pallbearers come in and they take and they're going to walk this thing, the coffin down the street, and do with whatever they do in the city. I think they probably dump you off the mountain somehow, let you fall through. It just you go, there's a heap of dead bodies somewhere down there or whatever.
God.
But yeah, so most of the people get up and leave, but you, Yulia, who are trying to keep track, notice that the High Priestess is not going.
Yulia will certainly approach and sort of greet her with, I know we talked about a secret handshake last time, but, a dignified secret handshake.
Yeah, the super secret handshake now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There's the it's just common or the fancy handshake. Cool. Yeah, and so most people are leaving. She's not going. She's surrounded by a few what look like guards, actually. Stout looking, but you can tell they look rugged and tough, but you can tell that they're dressed not to. But it's not a very good. It's really hard to hide tough looking muscly dudes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Gorath knows it's a burden.
It's a hard life.
It really is. And so you approach her, and the guards she gives them the nod, and it's cool. And she looks at you and, like, you can tell she's giving you, like, almost a double look. Like, she almost recognizes you. And she says to you, before you say anything, probably while you guys are doing the handshake thing, right? Like, have we met before?
Well, maybe I need to roll. I don't think we've met before, but maybe if she has, she could roll to see if she remembers.
She will roll. She does
Okay.
not remember you at all. She
Okay.
doesn't. No, but she says it nonetheless. It seems like she's legitimately wondering.
Okay, I'll just tell her, I don't believe that we've ever met, but my monastery was in whatever the name that I called it last time was.
Right.
This was my monastery. This, maybe you have been there before. I don't know.
I'm from a little place called Vegas. Maybe you've heard of it.
Yeah, man. Las Vegas, New Mexico. Maybe you've had
Vegas.
Oh, nice.
Yulia's wearing the skull cap now.
Nice. Okay, that has to be kept. The skull cap has to have some sort of pun attached to it.
It's that. Yep, makes sense.
Yep, cool. Yeah, so the handshake is going, and she shakes it off. I have not been able to make it to that temple yet. I apologize.
Well, Yulia is still very delighted to meet her, and sort of bows and said, "It's absolutely my pleasure to finally meet you, my lady. I am delighted that we have had this occasion. I just wish it were under better circumstances. Tell me, is the reason you are in Cloud City now to deal with these mysterious deaths? What has brought you here?"
And she says, that's not why I came, but that's why I've stayed. I like to, I do like to visit. I would love to visit all of the temples and meet. You learn so much from people such as yourself. Tell me about yourself.
Absolutely.
And she actually said, as she says that, she kind of like turns to her people and she says, "Would you guys care to accompany me back to my chamber?"
Gorath wonders if he needs to kill another dog.
It's not one of those visits, Gorath. Calm down. I'm sorry.
Muffin sort of feels his face get hot, and he's like, sure.
And she says, "Fine, follow me." And by chamber she meant like there's a chamber behind the thing that is, for her use, a green room of sorts.
What is it called? Like a parlor?
Yeah, or we'll call it the green room. Although in this, maybe it's the flower room because there's even more flowers back here, and you can see it's like it's set up for this. This is where you would go. Where you would take the rich people back to try, to pamper them and get fucking money out of them. So it's gorgeous.
Yep.
It, and you could there's a bunch of really comfortable seats, and she doesn't sit in any of them. And she kind of sits on this shitty stool that and she motions for you guys to sit, and then she also motions for something to the other people. To her bodyguards, and they have people bring some tea, delicious tea. You guys love tea.
Is it better than the last tea that we've had?
Let's find out. Man, it is rock solid tea. Like it's the best tea you've ever had. Rock solid.
Excellent.
It Perfect. Is a straight 6 tea.
Ooh.
delicious, and it's like flower petals and like that kind of thing, and honey, that kind of deal.
This is really good for not being booze.
Yep.
Wow, this tastes way better than any of my.
And Gorath will find the plushest, most ornate-looking seat, and as he sits in it, make a
oh, this is a great chair. Oh, I need to get a chair like this.
Man, I should go into clergy too if I had this.
There you go. And
Yulia is basically completely ignoring them and is just sort of very interested in seeing what the Hight Priestess has to say about what she knows about what's going on. If she's stayed, she's probably been here longer than we have. What does she know?
Well, before you ask her any question, because you didn't ask her a question, she will ask you, so tell me what brings you here. Because she's like, I have not seen you at the church, so I'm assuming.
It was an airship.
Oh.
Yulia kind of sheepishly, does that shisty look from side to side, and then says, "Well, I was intending to go on a sort of pilgrimage to find some more information, and I have my companions here who helped me find the tower of a chronomancer, and I was extremely excited at first to find this tower, but it turns out that we seem to have gotten mixed up in things that we might not necessarily be what's the word I'm looking for? Prepared for."
And you can, she's like, her eyes get wider, and she says, "This is exactly what I was talking about. This is exactly why I love to travel to temples, because I meet the most interesting people with the most interesting stories. You must tell me everything. Tell me what brought you..." And she knows, airships. She was actually going to ask about the airship, and now she's forgetting about the airship, because they're fairly common here. She's seen them a bunch of times. But she says, "A chronomancer. Tell me everything. Tell me everything."
I feel like Yulia is not a particularly suspicious person, so she's absolutely going to just kind of take a deep breath and say as much as she can, as much as she can remember, and sort of look to McMuffin and Gorath to try to help her fill in the blanks. But just tell her everything that's been going on with the encounter with Maven Mag, and then having to deal with McMuffin's parents being stuck in a time loop, and the rift that we went through. Just she's happy to have it all off her chest, and she's just kind of blurting it all out.
Cool. And so you tell her everything, about the time tower. Do you tell her about the fallen cleric?
I imagine she does, because again, Yulia's not particularly suspicious. She's almost naive in that she just thinks, "Oh, I'm going to tell this person literally everything, and it'll be only helpful for me."
Do you show her the mark from the pool?
I imagine so. It would be good proof.
Okay. And she's barely speaking and just letting you fucking crank all this knowledge on her. And
at the appropriate times, Gorath will embellish and, do as a good orcish warrior does and exaggerate the story.
Of course. And when they get to...
And then McMuffin will add in...
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Add in what?
McMuffin will add sound effects whenever necessary.
Nice.
If they were to die, he would be like, and then we went boom, and then there was a splash, and then
and you were like, "Ugh."
I love it.
And he was like...
And while you guys are doing all this, she like does a lifts her hand at one of the other people. It was probably right around the time where Gorath embellished that there was cookies last multiple times they had tea. So she offers you. Let's see how good these cookies are. The cookies are totally also another 6. Fantastic.
Excellent.
The greatest cookies.
The best cookies ever.
These are excellent cookies for not being boozed.
Totally. And then she does another hand, and they bring you the greatest wine you've ever had to Gorath. Like a big thing of it. Like a huge thing of it. Like, and it's, like, there's a glass and a bottle. Put it
I'm not
right
the
next
first
to you.
orc you've met, am I?
Nope. And so she's like asking, like she turns to McMuffin and she's like, what is it like to die? What did you see?
Well, Death is kind of snarky. He's kind of mean. His attendant is kind of a jerk and kind of dudesy, but it's overall not too bad once you get used to it. And as he says that,
your mic cuts out. Your mic always cuts out.
oh, sorry, I sometimes press the button too early or too late. Yeah.
Hold that button.
And as he says that, he sort of takes another sip of his wine. Mm-hmm. He says, "Wow, this is really good wine. Wow."
And it really is.
Yeah, but dying sucks. But I've done it before.
And when I'm kind of going back and doing questions she would ask during the thing. When you show her, and where is it? Let me see. I have this. Yulia, you show her your the mark that you had, which is, if I can remember right, yes.
Yeah, I
on the
have to
back.
look at it.
It's on the back of your left hand.
Ah, yes. Okay.
She gets up off her stool and comes and wants to inspect it. She kind of takes your hand, and like before you can it's like lightning quick. She whips out a dagger and like takes a little slice and slices your right where the mark is, and
Oh God!
And holds a little cup under it and takes a little of the blood, and she's like, and you can tell she was just like kind of overcome, like she wanted to do that. She's like, I'd really like to.
Yulia.
I'm sorry, my child.
Go ahead.
She says, I'm sorry, my child. And then she heals your wound because she's also a cleric, right? Like she has healing power.
Yulia definitely has that sort of wide-eyed what the fuck moment and tries to jerk her hand away, but I imagine the Hight Priestess kind of held it in place.
No, she lets it go. She lets it go.
Yeah, well, I mean, as soon as she lets it go, Yulia kind of holds her hand to herself and watches it heal and just be like, What was that for?
I'm sorry. I want to study this mark. Marks just don't appear on people's bodies for no reason. I'm sorry. I should have asked first, but
I don't have a mark.
Oh God! Where's Gorath's mark?
Gorath's mark is on his back.
You don't want to know.
No, it's just above his left nipple.
God.
No mark here. I was lucky. It's my orc who's being logically.
Yeah, and since then he's turned his mark into stick figure drawing. Like the stick figure is kind of because I'm assuming you're mostly shirtless most of the time anyway.
There's always some chest showing.
Yeah, and she says, "I'm sorry, my dear. I just need. I need to take a look at this." And she gives the cup to one of her staff, and they run away with it.
Yulia will ask her if she's ever heard of anything like this before.
And she she kind of pauses and she says, what a wild story. What an adventure you've had.
You have no idea.
And
it was a good time.
She asked specifically about like how you found the tower. Like she wants you to reiterate that the first time, right? Mm. She wants you to reiterate like how you found the cleric.
And well, I mean, initially we'll talk about she's asking about the tower and then the cleric.
Yeah.
Okay. Yulia will have all of her notes, obviously, right on her, and she'll be perfectly happy to sort of throw them out and walk through because she's very pleased with herself that she figured this out. Mm-hmm. But as far as the cleric goes, she will say, we stumbled across this. We have no idea what happened. We assume it has something to do with the time rifts, but I have no idea how to get back there or even where it was.
And at some point, would Gorath's sword have come up?
I'm sure it probably would have. That's a pretty fancy thing to come across.
Yeah.
And she asked,
Gorath would love to show it off.
Well, she asked Gorath, like, I'm sorry, Gorath, could you ask your amazing sword where the cleric's cave was?
I could try. I don't think it'll work, but
and I long draw the sword out and place it on the ground and
cleric's cave.
And it points like to a window in the in the room.
What?
And she's like, that is amazing. Amazing,
Usually
she says.
I need to know the name of the place. That's pretty cool. Unless he named it Cleric's Cave. That's interesting.
Exactly. And she looks like she's almost going to like clap in a giddy clap. But she's just amazed and very excited. And she says, I'm so glad you came in to see me today. I'd like to have many more conversations. Please call on me anytime.
Yeah, you're pretty all right for one of them posh religious types.
And you get pretty good cookies.
And she asks,
a euphemism.
Yeah, she has her staff pack up a bunch of the cookies for you guys, and a couple of bottles of wine, like a bottle of wine each.
I would like to ask her if she knows anything, one, about what's going on here as far as the attacks, and two, if she has any information that she might be able to share as far as the time magic goes. So it's kind of two different things, but anything would help.
Right, so she's these poor girls. And she's like, and she like kind of has like this weird look on her face and almost a giggle, and she says, vampires. And she doesn't explain that unless you guys ask her about it, but like,
what's with the giggle?
Vampires.
Oh yeah, vampires. They're scary.
Yeah, we heard that. We heard that.
Because he's seen so many other people do it, Gorath, for some reason, goes,
Yeah, Gorath thinks that's now the proper response to when you say vampires, is a gasp. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
So she says, the only thing they found all three bodies were everyone is saying that they were drained of blood, and that's why the vampires. It's completely stupid. Sadly, the truth is possibly more gorish.
Gorath. It's Gorath.
I'm sorry, Gorath.
No.
Is more Gorath. And she says, they were found without a heart.
Well, that's not romantic.
No.
Yulia's obviously shocked by this, but she asks, have you ever heard of anything like this happening before?
Thankfully, no. But clearly without a heart, they lose all their blood. And so hence the rumors have spread. I mean, I don't know I don't profess to know any vampires personally, but the stories I've heard, they do not eat hearts necessarily.
What a liver and the lungs missing as well.
And she looks at Gorath and that's an oddly specific question. And she just says, no.
No or oh?
No.
Right, well then that rules out a Strega.
Fair. And then she's just, apologetic. She's like, those poor girls. And I don't really know anything else. And she would say it in a way like, the Lady of Light has not shown me anything more about that. Trying to, and you can almost tell she's calling that one in. She's she's kind of throwing a little bit of the priest, the religious vibe in there. Mm-hmm. You can almost tell that's something she just does from time to time.
It's almost like she's like a Hight Priestess or something.
Yeah, exactly. She can't help herself. And then she continues with, as for Time Lords and Chronomancers, it sounds like you're the expert on that, young lady.
We are kind of smart people.
I think Yulia's kind of sheepish and says, it's not hard to be the expert when nobody else knows anything either.
Still takes credit for something.
All right. Well, Yulia will thank the High Priestess for her time and will definitely promise that if she learns anything else interesting, the High Priestess will certainly know. And sort of bows and takes her leave.
Cool. And as you're going, she motions to another person, and they bring her a wrapping, and she takes it to you and unfurls basically a whatever. It's just wrapped in cloth or whatever, and it's a small symbol and it's like a. It's an ornate, flower-based, almost jewel-like, but it's like a pendant. And she's like, I couldn't help a gift for you. I think it would go smashing on your.
Couldn't help
on
what?
your. I couldn't. No, she was just like I wanted to give you this gift, but I couldn't help but notice on your. Gun holster, it might be perfect right there.
Bandolier.
Couldn't remember the name. and she you can tell she's looking as she's saying that, she's staring at the bandolier and the gun going, and you can see that she thinks it's cool. But
Yulia,
just a token.
Go ahead.
She just says a token of our friendship, and and you can tell it's worth something,
Yulia is absolutely delighted and immediately takes it and thanks her and affixes it to her bandolier, right up top, right by the collarbone where you can see it, and she just beams. She's so happy.
Cool.
McMuffin sort of raises his hand. I do have one question.
Yes, sir. What can I add?
Would you know of when these girls died and what time? Maybe we could sort of investigate for you.
Oh, I thought we learned that last time, although I don't know that I have it in my notes.
Yeah, I don't know if we did.
I think we might have, but I don't.
Story.
Yeah, I don't have it. Yeah, I don't have it written down. It looks like.
Well, she'll tell you that, and she kind of, you can like the expression on her face is like, yeah, this is, and you get the feeling like this is part of the vampire problem. And she almost like rolling her eyes when she explains it. They occur in and around the full moon.
Okay. So werewolf.
Interesting.
Exactly.
Lycanthropy.
Can we ask when the next full moon is?
Well, this gal just died, so it'd be next month.
Next month. Okay.
So we'd have to wait there a whole month before we find out what happened?
Yep.
We can investigate, gang.
The Scooby Gang.
I like how you think.
Mm-hmm.
If only you were time travelers that could skip ahead a month.
Oh, if only. That would be crazy.
Impossible.
Okay. All right. Well, Yulia will at the very least thank her for her time and go ahead and exit.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Gorath will do the same in a Gorathy way.
He takes like an extra helping of cookies and then and another bottle of wine and leaves. He grabbed
sounds about right.
You grab you just hug a bunch of bottles of wine off the table, and nobody stops you. You can take as much as you want. Yeah, totally.
Yep, and I've got cookies in my mouth, and I'm like,
Well, thank you. Hey, but what's your name? Do you just go
HP?
I'm Sister Malora.
HP.
Sister Malora.
Wow, Malora.
Say that again.
Wolfen sort of feels his face.
Alora? A-L-O-R-A?
Malora. M-A-L-O-R-A.
Okay, perfect. I got it.
It's like,
she's the source of Malor.
I don't know. I give that one a 4 out of 10.
You would.
That's my mind map. I have Sister Malora all on her own. We only have one religion in this game. Yeah, cool. So, we're kind of at time, but what did you guys want to do? Is there something else you want to do?
I think we could sort of maybe end and see or maybe our characters could figure out what our next steps are. Because I'm thinking we're tying it into investigating whatever is going on before the end of the month, so that someone else doesn't die horribly.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I agree. I feel like our characters should sort of regroup and try to figure out what our next move is. I'm open to your suggestions if you have any.
Mine? It's up to you guys. I mean, so what do we have here? We have a bunch of loose ends at this point, right?
We do, definitely.
So there's the time, checking out the book.
Mm-hmm.
Which, there's the... we didn't have any... Gorath didn't see...
I didn't see any red eyes.
No.
Or did he?
As soon as I say that, two things happen. You do notice it on the way out of the temple.
Okay.
And Yulia, you remember that you haven't been dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
But Gorath tells you that blah, 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 there's the red eyes. And then you remember you did have a really foggy dream about, like, because I forgot to do this at the beginning, I'm sorry. Like a ghosty black shadow with red eyes. And that's all it's not as, it's really, it's way less vivid than your normal dreams. Like, your normal dreams are like real life almost.
Ghost?
Yeah. Sorry. I literally meant to tie that in at the beginning of the thing, so let's just retcon that.
Okay. Well, I feel like I would like to make a roll, but I don't actually have my character sheet in front of me. If Yulia can discern any information from this, has she ever heard of anything like shadowy figures with red eyes stalking people?
Go for it.
Okay, let's just do 2d6 plus 1.
Nope.
Oh, well.
Yeah, and it's you almost break your brain thinking about it just because of the one. No, so other threads like so we have the dying girls, the time aspect. What else we got?
Drekel. We met Drekel.
We did meet Drekel.
We did meet Drekel. We have those birds that have been following us. I mean, there are a couple other issues. Yeah.
Birdie, who I forgot to mention.
Yep. And Birdie is definitely more black.
Yep.
Birdie has grown 2 extra claws.
Oh God.
An extra claw on both feet.
This is only going to get worse.
Interesting choice of fashion saying Birdie, but I respect it.
Mm-hmm.
No, Yulia's like, what exactly? I mean, Birdie didn't always have that number of claws, did they?
And everybody looks at Gorath with his hat, and his skull cap. Did he? And then he's like, "There's 1 extra." No, I won't talk to you guys, but. Sorry, this is me being a bad DM and not doing all the continual things.
You're being a naughty GM.
Yeah. See what happens when you guys give me a week off? It's terrible.
Right.
I get everything. Yeah. So yeah, you probably want to go chat with Mr. Maxwell. You probably want to. I don't know if there's a reason to go back to the library, but maybe you'll find one.
Well, I mean, the guy we were talking to, not necessarily the librarian, say that he would be looking out for more books that would be useful.
Yeah, and it's possible. No. Yeah. I mean, he may have sent that kid to you. You don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. Anybody else have any ideas?
And Gorath just kind of does that for a while, and then stops. What were we talking about?
What's most pressing to you guys? I guess you got to go figure out the book thing, right?
Yeah, I think barring anything else, Yulia would just go back to the library or begin studying the book that she already has.
Okay.
Did we ever do like the ritual thing that you have to do with the book?
Oh, I don't know. Let me see. I don't think we did.
What was the ritual with the book?
Wasn't it like you have to do a thing with it at a certain time?
Oh, yeah.
For the sundial, yeah.
Yeah, but you did that, right? And so that's what got you here. It told you to come here.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
And to go to the library.
Well, I mean,
Maybe we should go to the library at night.
We certainly could. We could go to the library, or we could try to see if we could find the victims' families and ask them about the victims themselves. So we could go, one of two ways.
Mm-hmm. Well, so the book the kid told you about is at the Mr. Maxwell's, right? So that's a possible book. You definitely could go check out the library again. Maybe they'd have more information.
Okay.
Finding the kids' parents, they're pretty popular. It shouldn't be hard to, if they're still alive or whatever. Totally cool.
Okay.
Yeah. And seeing the sights, of course. You guys want to see all the sights, right?
Of course.
Yes.
You saw one of the big ones.
And I
you saw.
go do the swinging under the place.
There you go. Which is probably where they dump the dead bodies, as well.
Well, it's up to you guys. Yulia can always go to the library. Or she can go by herself, and Gorath and Muffin can go looking for clues.
I'd go with, obviously. I had fun at the library.
You're not allowed to rip out any more pages, Gorath.
You're not my mother.
Or your wife, yet.
It's yet to be determined.
More dogs in your future, I think. Yulia, good luck with that. Cool. So, do you guys want to leave off with you're headed back to the library, and along the way or by next session, McMuffin, if you want to deviate, totally cool.